Who would like to give the recap for what happened last session? Since we've been away for 2 weeks, good time to get a little bit of that sweet inspiration.
Okay, so I'll give it a go. I was pretty drunk at the time, so don't take my word for it though. But we left the city to go back to Baldur's Gate after finding the gnomes' jobs, or the goblins' jobs, which was very nice. And then I'm pretty sure we got attacked by like sea monsters. And we defeated them, I'm pretty sure, since I'm telling this story. And we were heading back to Baldur's Gate to find more information about what was going on with all the dragons and everything.
Sounds about right. So as we left off, Serenia, you reached out your hand with healing to reach out to the closed eyes and bleeding Vrunk as he weakly you hear him whisper, "I want it to be like you." And you watch as the healing enters his body. The wounds begin to close, and he takes a deep breath, and you see his breathing return to normal, ragged and tired as he is after brushing so close to death. What do you do?
I hug him real tight.
A little goblin smile appears. He seems to be happy and feeling much safer. Anybody else?
Is anybody like hurt besides me? Apparently I just opened my character sheet and saw I opened it up and I was like, what the fuck happened?
My wounds have been tended to. I'm feeling rather good.
I'm
Okay.
pretty bad.
I'm hurt, but I deserved it. So take care of other people
It's like
first.
spit water out on the deck.
Right, Sprocket almost freaking drowned. How did I forget about that? Hold on, let me do some cure wounds real quick for you, buddy.
He had a bad go.
Oh my god.
So did Gronk.
Yeah, Bronk
Okay.
is now stable. No longer actively dying.
Sprocket can heal for 16.
Alright. Bimgod, take a note. Flotation devices.
I think that's a good idea. I'll take that one twice. Those things were awful.
Are there...
Well,
their bodies are here on the deck, right? Some of them got killed up on top, right?
Yeah, a few of them.
Are some of their harpoons here?
Yes. If you're able to scrounge them up, they're not exactly in great shape. Most of them are rusted. It looks like they've probably been scavenged from previous whale hunts and other boating expeditions, but you're able to gather up at least 6 rusted harpoons.
Right. I can use them for parts in a greater harpoon. Anything else
Might
of
look for
interest
like
on them?
any kind of. Yeah, I was gonna look for like organizational like markers. Like, do they all like have symbol like brooches on them conveniently?
Give me an investigation check. You don't see anything that really stands out to you. But Sprocket, as you're going through their pockets or what you think might be a pocket, you do notice a small coin that they're all carrying. And it looks like a normal traditional gold coin, but it's clear that on one side, stamped over it, is the shape of multiple tentacles and a beak inside of it.
Huh. I like look it up, I look it over. I like buy it to see if it has like the consistency of gold.
Mm-hmm. It's certainly a gold coin.
Detect magic?
It's not magical.
Okay.
Can I roll a history on it since I'm proficient in
This
it?
would be religion.
Religion? Oh, I don't have that one.
We can give it a shot. Bob, if you'd like to roll
Boom.
a history, you can do that as well. Alex, you suspect that given the nature of the coin and what you found it on, there are rumors of a cult of a kraken.
That would make sense.
Possibly a religious symbol of sorts.
I'll look over at Bob because Bob also knows about the sea.
Pardon me.
Bob, you know that there are some old sailors' tales of times when seas would turn black, completely black, even under fair weather. That a massive creature called the Kraken would take ships underneath, and to be chosen by the Kraken was to be doomed. And that sailors who succumb victim to the Kraken are offered the choice to either perish or to spend the rest of eternity serving them.
Oh, I relayed that information in a
Oh.
spooky ghost story.
You are speaking of the Midgard Stormer. Yes, it is a serpent that was born of the god Mask and his gigantic lover. It is not to be feared. It is part of this world. Natural.
I don't know, I fear a lot of natural things.
I don't know, death or eternal servitude are a bit supernatural there on that one.
I bet you it couldn't beat a boat that could go under the water, though.
Oh, I
Just saying.
guarantee you could. It's a pretty nasty monster.
I don't know.
Yeah, my grandmother talked about that one, and like, it's scary.
I bet I can make a boat that can beat it.
At this
Oh,
point,
you
Onkar has finished throwing some of the corpses over the side, walks over to you, Alex, and rubs his hand together and says, you look like you're in rough shape.
I mean, I'll be okay. I was just gonna go lie down somewhere in a minute. Things seem to be under control.
No,
As
nonsense.
she like swaggers and like takes another hit of her flask.
Nonsense. May the light bless you. And he pushes both of his hands on your shoulder, and you feel radiant energy enter you, and you're healed for 25.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Alex perks right up. And then invites him to go drink the rest of this elven ale that we need to finish.
Yes! I like the way that you think, lass. Now, when we get back into town, there are some people who I will want to introduce you to. I'll be proud to put your name on next to mine in this order. You all handled those monsters quite well.
We've gotten pretty good at killing things that try to kill us first.
This is the better way to go through life than killing them after you die.
We got a little experience with that, but not a ton.
I agree with that one.
And also smarter than trying to kill them before they try to kill you.
I'll kill a man in a fair fight, you know. But getting preemptive, not my style. But I can certainly understand why others will trend towards it. You know, early strike to avoid the problem of the day. And at this point, Duncan hollers out, "We're bringing the boat about! Bringing the boat about! Going into port!" And you watch as Pigeonhole and Two Bird and Erbird and One Stone, they each start scurrying about, getting the ship ready. And you guys are generally after about 20 minutes, you finally have turned the boat back into Baldur's Gate. Bob, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Real quick, before that, how long were we on the river? 3 days, right?
3 days.
Okay, so just so everyone knows, I've already expended the gold and the spell slots for it, but everyone's primary backpack has an arcane lock on it that they can open and I can open. Except for my backpack, which anyone can open that's in the party.
So as you guys are pulling into port, Bob, you notice something's really off. And it's something that you specifically notice as somebody with this sailing experience. A lot of the ships in port appear to have been attacked recently. But it's not, cannon holes. It's not, masts that have been splintered by chain shot. There seem to be a large amount of claw marks. And you notice that there's less people on the ships than you would normally expect. So a galley that might have 40 people, you're seeing 20. A sloop that might be crewed by 6 has got 2 people on it.
So, everybody, it looks like we weren't the first or only to have this issue, because it looks like the rest of the ships in dock have been pretty roughed up by claws and definitely some death. So,
Must have been a pretty
maybe
big
we should
force.
ask around and see what their experiences were too. I mean,
I agree. That seems like that could be a big problem.
Especially on a major
Really
port like this.
orchestrated.
Like, it's not just like a random attack on a port like this.
well, just to double check, is it like almost all the ships, or is it like a smattering here and there?
It's
thing?
not all the ships, but the way that they organize ships coming into the dock, you can tell that it's ships that have been more recently docking. You think there's some sort of pattern because you notice there's some attack ships and then non-attacked ships and then attacked ships. There's some sort of pattern. You can't quite make it out yet. You need more information.
So it doesn't quite look like they were attacked there. It's those coming in.
Quite possibly.
Okay. If logic.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Cool.
Okay.
I'll give that information.
Duncan, Alex, you hear a voice in your head. It's Duncan's. He says, "Hey, lass, I got a task for you." You're muted.
Whoops, sorry. I would just respond back, what's up?
He throws a satchel to you, and it has a message inside, which you will receive on Discord.
Okie dokie.
So now that we're docked up, does it look like there's any damage to the port at all?
Port looks fine. Port looks completely undamaged. All the damage is specifically on the ships. If anybody else would like to make a perception check, feel free.
Yeah, look at that.
Double
So the one
20.
thing that all of you notice is that with how many people are missing, there's no overabundance of body bags, no bodies that are being unloaded from any of these ships.
Looks like a bunch of snatching to me.
That makes sense. That's what they tried to do to me with that harpoon.
I do have a question about your message, Dave.
Okay.
Does the bag also contain enough money to carry out this task?
I just sent you the amount of the
Oh, that's plenty to carry out this task. Okay. Alex just kind of nods to Duncan and then says, I'm gonna go get a bunch of bottles, and then Bob, if you want, I'll walk around with you with them and we can talk to the sailors.
Well, Unthar comes over and slaps his hand on your shoulder. Well, last we were supposed to go drinking.
Well, yeah, we're gonna drink all the time. Do you wanna come with?
Yeah, I could come with you. Show me what you think worth getting into in Baldur's Gate.
I've only been here once, but that ale that we've been drinking the whole time came over from the Alvin district, so I figured we'd try a different place this time. Do I have a map of Baldur's Gate? Is there like a tourist map that
You
does
guys
just
can
like a mall registry?
you guys, there are maps around the city, just because navigating around can be difficult. It's generally broken into 4 different quarters. There's the residence, there's the temple quarter, the merchant quarter, and then of course there's like a government quarter. The each quarter having walls around them, designed so that the city's attacked, that there can be multiple layers of defense.
Well, I'm gonna head
Bob
towards
pipes
the
up.
merchant quarter.
I'll go with you, Sprocket.
Just as long as we don't open up that map while we're on the street, we should be fine, because we don't want to look like we don't know where we're going. So we have to go in somewhere, look at the map, and then go somewhere else and sort of...
Street smarts.
I trust you, Bob.
Bob, you leading the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I've got Bob, Undar, and Alex. Anybody else going with them?
I'm taking Vronk to the druids.
Okay. And then Sprocket, Sprocket, Bimgog, and Bjorno, I imagine you're going to the merchants.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and deal with Serenius first.
Sure.
So Callie, Vronk is finally starting to really come to. He's standing up again. He kind of looks up at you. He's like, "Did I do good?"
You did your best.
He smiles. I I'm sorry. I'm sorry I tricked you. I saw them. I saw them unloading the stuff underneath the side of the boat. So I thought I could stow away there. But then I heard you guys were in trouble, and I didn't want you to get hurt.
Well, as much as your intentions were pure, sometimes you need to understand risk versus reward. The risk being you coming up against an enemy that you could not fight, and the reward being helping us survive. Unfortunately,
I think the reward was worth it. I'm sorry. I should listen more.
you need a proper teacher who can help you along this path.
His
And
eyes
I
light up.
cannot be that teacher, but I can help you find one.
Okay. You good? I'm okay with that.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Sorry, just go.
So and like Vronk is like trying to keep up with you. Eventually, like he grabs a hold of your hand, and you just kind of like, you're not dragging, but he's definitely like jumping with each step as you kind of pull him through the air like a small child. You walk through the city over to the religious quarter, and you knock on a door that you are familiar with, but is generally unmarked, other than the front of the building having a facade covered in flowering plants, surrounded by various blooming trees of different fruits and herbs. It's a very pleasant smelling area in the city, given how much of the city doesn't smell good. And you knock on the door with a certain rap, and a young elven woman slowly opens the door. May I help you? You recognize this as the headquarters of the Emerald Enclave. My apologies.
I am hoping that you could. My name is Serenia. I am with the Enclave, and I have a potential recruit that needs a new teacher.
Recruit? Where are they?
I like hold the goblin.
You hold Vronk up, and she kind of realizes she's been looking up the whole time and could have looked down, and a goblin. And Vronk's like, yes, I'm a goblin, and I'm gonna be the best goblin druid there's ever been. And the elf kind of chuckles to herself.
He has the right spark and the right attitude, and I was hoping that we could nurture what could bloom inside of him.
Come inside, both of you, please. She opens the door. You're greeted to what looked like a somewhat small building. You now recognize as the interior is much more broad and open. You've got an open air arboretum. There are flowing creeks and trees that are all probably very clearly magically maintained. At the same time, stepping into the building, it really does feel like stepping into a glade. You see various people, in various parts of this area that appear to be discussing things. A couple of very large earthen creatures that are, to the untrained eye, would be nothing more than a boulder or a log, are actually elementals, sleeping and dozing around this area. It's very tranquil. She takes you all into the center of the room and sits you down around a small watering pool, very similar to the one that was in the middle of Hyperion's glade. And she invites you to sit down. So Vronk, was it? And Vronk looks up. Yes! She says, the Enclave, being a druid, is a very large commitment. One that is not taken lightly. So you have to understand that it would be less appropriate for me to speak to you about this as much as it is to speak to your sponsor. So please don't mind that we speak as this, we talk about you in front of you. And he kind of looks confused, but he nods in agreement. He looks, and she looks to you, Cernia. So you feel that this goblin is a good candidate because he has the right spark. Tell me more.
I have met many goblins in my time. And historically, most of them prefer death and destruction. Even most of his kin would sing about killing and eating babies. I say this not to talk down about the goblin race, because who you are is who you are, and I am not disparaging their way of life. What I am pointing out here is an individual who has, through talk and act, continued to show that he genuinely wants to do more and do better, in so much as what we would consider better druidically.
She nods.
I am not certain that he is a perfect candidate. However, he is excited to learn and to try.
It would be helpful to people of all races for a goblin to take on this mantle. They have so few strong leaders. You would trust your life to this goblin.
I cannot say that I would trust my life to this goblin that I have only barely met. What I would say is, if my gut is wrong, just send a letter and I will come back and do every single thing necessary to correct the imbalance caused by me suggesting you take this path.
As you say that, you hear Vronk a few feet away from where both of you thought he was sitting kind of stumble backwards as a small rock, like boulder, not bird, comes to life, animated, and he reaches down and you see him pet this active moving boulder, and a smile comes over the young elf's face, and she says, I think I understand what you're saying. I don't think that will be a concern. But I think we can work with him. We will send word if we need you. And in fact, she reaches behind her into a bag, and she pulls out a small rock, rectangular in size or shape, with rounded edges, that has a piece of wire engraved into it that wraps around it multiple times, and she hands it to you. Take this if you should need to contact us. This would be an easy way to reach back out to us. You can use it once per day to send a simple message under 25 words. The Enclave has taken to producing these so that we may more readily communicate with each other. We call them Rocky Talkies.
I will take it and I will thank her, and then I will go walk over to Ronk and the rock. And would speak with animals work to talk to the rock he's petting? What?
It's an elemental, so you would need to
Talk
speak
to animals.
Ingrid, I want to say.
I don't know how to do that. So I'm gonna walk over to Ronk and kneel down next to him and say, "This is the next step for your journey. I am never far away."
Are these the people who are going to teach me to be an invisible thing in the woods?
Potentially, if that's where your path leads. We all have a different path, and you shouldn't judge your success by my skills, because I am certain that you will have skills that I can't possess as well.
Well, if you're going to leave me here, can I have a mushroom to remember you by?
Serenity will pick off 3 mushrooms and hand it to him.
I see what you did there.
He smiles and hugs them very closely, and then he hugs your leg. He says, I promise I'll make you proud. I promise you'll be happy with me, and one day I'm gonna be a good druid just like you, and I'll take care of the land and the trees, and I'll help goblins not kill babies.
I am certain that you will do your best, and that is all anyone could ask of anyone else. You do not have to be the best druid to be a good druid.
I think I kind of understand, but I'll make you proud. Thank you. I didn't want to stay in that city. I didn't want to work for that man at that weird bar.
Well, and you are so brave for taking your future into your own hands.
He smiles, and the elven woman walks over to him and says something in Terran to the rock, who kind of rolls around a little bit and then goes back into its place and goes to sleep. And Vronk kind of climbs up on her shoulders as she offers him a hand. And she smiles and she says, I'll make sure he's well taken care of. Funny enough, there's actually a glade that's in need of some watching, and there's a druid out there that I think he would work well with. So
message me if you have any issues. I do take responsibility, and I am here.
We're all responsible for the paths that we walk. We wouldn't hold his behaviors to yours. Hold on one moment. Yes. No, you're not doing that right now. Would you like to go outside?
Tarzan says, yes, we do. We do hold the behavior.
I don't have speak with animals.
He's very mad.
Okay, come on. We're going outside.
Ugh.
Oh, big jump, sir.
Once again, amazing background music, Wade.
It just falls in place. I can't explain it any better than that.
And so Gronk will wave goodbye as he settles out into the back of the building, and you watch as a couple small children walk over to join them, and he's introduced to them. It's a familiar sight. It's something you kind of remember. It gives you flashbacks to the first time you were introduced to a circle and learned more about these crafts. Do you want to do anything else while you're here?
No, If he's interacting with the other children, I'll just fade into. Mostly because it's been 2 weeks since we played, so I don't really remember my priorities. So I'm just gonna fade into black.
Yeah, you honestly, what you probably would do is relax in the glade for a little bit, stock up on some herbs. It is the Enclave headquarters, so you're able to refresh your supply pouch for spells, rations, any sort of products like that, or you check in with the boards. There's nothing that needs to be critically addressed, and then you probably could return back to the ship or to an inn if you would like. So we'll check back in with you here in a little bit. Sprocket, Bjorno, and Bimgog, you all are you disembark from the ship and you head off towards the merchant quarter. What are you guys doing?
Well, Bimgod, Bjorno, are you all looking for anything in particular?
No, I really just wanted to make sure you were okay in the big city, Sprocket. I mean, you did almost take one in the drink.
Yeah.
So, I figured I'd just, tag along. Plus, cities seem to get a little bit, spicy for me sometimes. So I figured I'd just, stick close to my friends.
No, that's probably smart. I do much better on land than I do in water.
Bjorno?
I'm just here to window shop.
Okay. Alright, well, the first place I want to go to is back to that blacksmith that we saw the first time that we were in town.
Crooked Corner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the he's there. He is still pounding away on a few implements. You do notice a selection of lances is up on the wall now. There's a few more very nice pieces up there. He smiles seeing you all walk back. Friends, good to see you again. What can I do for you?
Well, one, I wanted to look at your new stock, if you had anything interesting in. That was the first thing I wanted to do.
always have interest. I've always got interesting things. It really depends on what you're looking for, though.
Well, it looks like you expanded your lance selection.
Well, I thought about it as you had come in, and I really didn't have much to offer in regards to them. But now, now there is much that can be done. What are you looking for?
Well, I really like that lance that I saw last time, as much as I don't want to say that out loud. As I look around real quick just to see if maybe Hajime is anywhere here.
You don't see Hajime here. But he kind of looks at you. The Hajime lances.
It's
yes,
modular.
I still have those.
What else do you have here?
It is.
What about these?
Well, I mean, we have a few specialties. So each of these, I have worked with one of the local mages to imbue. So this one, and he points to one that's got red painting and designs on it, is a Lance of the Flame. You speak the command word, he pulls it off the wall. He says something in a language you don't recognize, and the fist on top of it catches fire. Tends to hurt a little more. He says the command word, and the flames, swoop back into the fist. He puts it away. He grabs another one. It's got kind of a blue coloring to it. He's like, this one. I can't use the command word here because let's just say it's a bit of lightning.
Oh, okay.
And I like my roof not having holes in it.
That's fair.
But it is effective. He puts that back up on the wall. And then there's this one. This one is a bit of a strange fruit. It will well, it's got to how to say it. Essentially, it poisons your foes. It's venomous, if you will.
Okay.
And then I do have my own line of the modulars. They also come in a magical enhancement set. However, because of their modular nature, they couldn't be enchanted with the elements. You see, it becomes a bit of
overload.
The magic versus the ability to change. It's a stability thing. Yes.
That's fair. How much are those? The last one that you just talked about.
Well, if you want a different type of head, each type of head is going to be about 1,000 gold each. The lance to actually properly hold it is additional 200.
Okay.
So 1,200 for a whole lance with any individual head, and you can add a head that will make it either slightly more accurate and a little bit more of that piercing sharpness of magic.
Okay. And how much are the elemental ones?
Those are a little bit more pricey. You are looking at about 1,500.
Okay. Well, I would be very interested in the modular one with a standard lance head for right now.
Okay. You just want the modular lance, but you don't want an enchanted head on it.
I do want it enchanted. I thought that'd be 1,200.
Oh, okay. Yes. And let me. I have one I think you will like. And he goes into the back of the shop and he comes out and it's got a little bit different of a lance than the ones that he had out. It's full metal, but you can tell that there is a component of it that this lance can be disassembled and reassembled. So he shows it to you, and he speaks a command word, and the lance kind of both halves twist in opposite directions, and he's unable to unscrew it. And he puts it back together, screws it tight, speaks a command word, and you watch a little glow of magic as it reseals or resets itself.
Oh,
It's pretty amazing. You've come a long way with that.
Well, it is what it is. I see what my customers want. You're not the only one coming in looking for lances lately.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've noticed an influx of knights have been getting them. I don't know if there's some games coming up or something they're preparing for, but we've had a fair number of lance orders recently.
Interesting.
I'm
Out of curiosity,
I'm proud to continue working on crafting them, though.
Out of curiosity, how much are the non-magical heads for these lances?
I mean, just be a good 20 gold.
Okay, so if I wanted, say, like a more blunt head to it, that's just a 20 gold for that attachment? Okay.
Yes.
Can I get a blunted?
Mm-hmm.
And also, I know lances aren't designed for this, but, it does have a modular end. Do you have anything with more of a blade to it rather than a pierce?
We experimented with combining a lance with a halberd. Most people found them unwieldy. I'd be willing to let it go for the same price as the rest of them.
Okay. Then I'll take those.
like a glaive or a partisan.
Yeah.
Yes, essentially, but the lance is not designed for slashing. So
Yeah.
it became more of a thing where as you lined up your shot, you had to not hit it center mass. You had to hit to the side. It's a more difficult shot, but if you absolutely need to cut something, that would be the way to do it.
Perfect. Well, I will take that lance and those 2 heads to start off with.
Okay, that'd be 1240, I would believe.
All right. I pick up my bag, I open it, I hold it over the counter, I say 1,240 gold pieces, and rains down.
The gold rains down, and a giant tarp, lands on top of the gold. And you notice that the tarp is covered in blood.
I look at it.
Looks like
I
a
look up
bonus.
at him.
That's a tip.
Why did your bag do that?
Why did it do what?
He points at the bloody tarp that came out of your bag.
I don't know. It's not gold.
You recognize it as the tarp that was missing when you went to cover the eggs a month or 2 ago.
I look at it, and I'll pull it away from the gold and fold it up, and then put it back in the bag.
Probably was. We've gotten a lot of battles, so it makes sense that there'd be a bloody in there.
The tarp is sticky to the touch. Afterwards, you feel very inclined to prestidigitate the muck off of your hands.
Yeah. I don't do it to the tarp, though. Because I want to keep some of whatever that is. I'm curious about it.
Okay. And he takes the gold, scoops it into his bag of holding, and you see as he closes it and says a command word, you watch the arcane lock glow.
The next thing I'm looking for, you may not have it, but maybe you do, because I'm sure you work with the material. But I'm looking for around 50 to 60 pounds of adamantium.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. The only place you're going to find that amount of material is, if you find a meteor that falls from the sky, or in some prepared armors.
You don't happen to have any, do you?
Some adamantine armor? I don't, but I'm confident you can find somebody around here. I mean, I specialize in weapons. That is what I do. Now, you could go down to Gert. Gert tends to be kind of more in the war. Yeah.
Okay, Gertz.
He's in that sort of business.
All right. The third thing I was looking for was a referral to someone who does a little bit more of the type of work that I do, artificery. Anyone who tinkers and makes different, technological items.
There is a fellow. Let me check my notes real quick. There is a fellow. He's been working out of a place called Parnast.
Parnast.
His name's Hajime. He is a talented artificer. I mean, he made many of the parts that you didn't seem to want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not many artificers out there selling their wares, unfortunately.
That's fair. Okay. Curious. That lance, I point at the one that makes flame.
Yeah.
You don't have anything like that, but more of a shorter blade, like a short sword, would you?
I do.
How much does that run for?
1,500.
1,500? Okay. Alright. Alright, well, I want to go visit this Gertz, and I may be back. I appreciate everything that you've shown us today.
Oh, of course, always glad to see you. Come back in one piece.
I wave and toddle off.
Waves you out.
Okay, what are you gonna do with the different tips?
So, like, I remember when some of my friends came back from their big adventure, they told me about how they fought things that couldn't be hurt with just a regular, like a blade or with an arrow. And so you wanted to have different weapons on you. And so I wanted to make sure this weapon I could use for different types of creatures that, a poke won't settle it for.
That's a good idea.
I want
You
you
can
to
mix it up.
listen. I want you
Yeah.
all to listen to me as I tell you this story. It's very important. There are creatures out there that are immune to different types of our abilities, and you have done well to arm yourself against them. But remember, if the creature breathes, it bleeds, or breathes, it can be choked to death.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I could choke anything to death, but that's true.
No, I mean, here's the thing, though, Sprocket. That's important because if it really comes down to it, and we can't hurt it with other weapons, and we're getting the other situations where that's the only option. Like, if anybody could figure out how to do it, you could do it, Sprocket.
If it breathes, it bleeds, or breathes, it can be choked to death. Rudes of the Rune Knight.
Hmm.
Okay.
To
Where do you
Gertz.
guys go next? Gertz?
Yeah.
So Gertz is a as you arrive, it's less of a forge, and it looks to be more of a shop. But you notice that the windows are barred, and that the door is reinforced with arcane runes on it.
I knock on the door.
You hear something yelled from inside, and the door slowly and appropriately opens up.
I'll step inside.
Inside you see a menagerie. If you didn't know any better, this would be akin to what a dragon hoard might look like if somebody with OCD had organized it. Minus the gold, obviously, because they don't have that lying around. But there are just magical blades, armors, shields, all kinds of things adorning the walls. And behind the counter is a half-orc. He's got an eye patch. He's got a goatee tied into multiple knots as it goes down. You notice that he's wearing like very nice clothes, but he has a very prominent brooch with a symbol that's similar to what was hanging above his door. The symbol being a shield with another shield on top of it. And Gert leans out from behind the counter. Come, enter. Welcome to Gertz.
Hello. And I run up to the counter.
Oh, wee little one.
Hi.
Fierce,
I was
two
told.
wee little ones.
Hi, Gert.
Fierce is the heart of the fighter who is small.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Bimgod's a champion.
What can I do for you?
Well, I was told that you may have either pre-made armor that's crafted out of adamantium, or maybe raw adamantium I could purchase from you.
Adamantine armor. Ooh. That is a precious item. Many people come looking for it. But for you two, it's too small.
Well, no, for him. I point towards Bjorn.
You want it, friend.
Me? Oh,
I want
this
it
is
for
worth
him.
many fortunes. I do not have the means for such things.
It's unfortunate. It will protect you greater than any armor out there.
Well, just out of curiosity, what are the means to acquire? Or like I said, just raw adamantium. Because I'm not poor with making things.
Well, I would not be selling adamantine. The raw material is so rare, generally when it's found, it is immediately put to the forge.
That's fair.
Are you looking for enchanted adamantine?
I think we would want to start at the basic adamantine to set our bar. You know, economics.
Give me a moment.
I'd be surprised if anyone just makes it non-enchanted. It's already going to be so pricey, you might as well slap something on there.
Well, it really comes down to the crafter themselves.
Okay.
It's adamantine is very, very difficult to work with. It requires an extremely hard forge, and on top of that, it's temperamental when it comes to magic.
Okay.
It doesn't always like to take it. That being said, why do you want adamantine armor?
Oh, I wanted
I
it
can't
for
just sell
Bjorno.
it to anyone.
Well, I wanted it for Bjorno because we do a lot of good. We like go around and we fight dragon cultists, and we help gold dragons like Hyperion, and we like are helping these monks, and we do good things for people like the goblins. And I want him to be really strong and protected, so when things try and beat him up, they won't kill him.
I am searching for the origins of my people. I am on a quest, a lifelong journey where I seek out and understand the mysteries of the ancient giant kind and unravel our mysterious history. I wish to live it vicariously like my ancestors.
Do you have a moment?
I do.
Do you have... He speaks a command word and the door slowly shuts. Come, follow me. He gets out from behind the... Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you're welcome to browse my wares, but if anything's missing, I'll kill you.
We're not
I do not associate with thieves.
I kid. Yes. Follow me. And he steps down from behind the counter, and you notice that he's walking with a peg leg. He's got a massive falchion where the tip of the blade is actually underneath his shoulder, so it's not visible to people who actually walk in at first. You notice that it's mounted a little bit far off of his body. It's a little bit strange. But he'll walk you to the back of the shop, and he opens a door, and inside there's a table, there's 4 chairs, and there's a small kitchen. And he invites you all to sit.
I'm gonna try not to break his chair.
It's a sturdy chair.
I share a seat with them, Doug.
I have a very big ass.
He smiles and he walks over to the kitchen and takes some water and speaks a command word, and the fireplace roars up. He says, "What tea do you drink?"
I like lemon tea.
Lemon? Any others?
I prefer the green tea. It helps me keep me calm.
Like, are you talking about that leaf water stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
I mean, I'll try it, I guess. I don't think I've ever really had options.
I think you would enjoy the green tea.
2 green teas and a lemon zest. Very well. He puts the kettle over the fire, and you watch as he goes. He takes 4 cups. Bjorno, he gets a larger cup for you, and Sprocket and Bimgog, he gets out these tinier little teacups. And after he starts breaking apart leaves by hand, grinding them in a mortar pestle, and filling the tea. filling the bottoms of the cups. He kind of hums a song to himself as he's doing it. Bjorna, go ahead and roll me a perception check. So
I'm perceptive.
So you recognize it. It's a song that you remember hearing as a child, but you don't know the words. Kind of a rhythm that is familiar to you, but you can't fully place the song. Like a nursery rhyme that you've kind of forgotten. And he as he finishes, he grabs the kettle off the fire and pours it into each of the cups, and you watches as he stirs. You see him take some sugar and dash it into each cup, a little bit of honey, and he puts that into each, and puts your beverages in front of you. He sits at the table across from you, Bjorno, and holds his tea in his hands and rubs the cup back and forth between his hands to warm his fingers. And he smiles and says, "Now, tell me what you know of your people."
Once we were one, long, long ago, and then we split off into many different tribes, the different flavors of giant as we know them now. I hail from a sect called the Goliath. We are competitive by nature, ready to seek out challenges. We have a nobility to our purpose and have diverged from some of the other tribes that we are often found around, such as the Veerbeeg. Once we lived in a great city that was sundered by the war between us and dragonkind. I seek it out.
Tell me of your runes.
Currently.
And he kind of points at the ones on your armor and your clothing and your equipment.
This is the stone rune. I show it. It's carved into the armor. It hardens me. It brings me purpose and brings me in kinship with the stone giants. Their adeptness at delving into the deep and perceiving what lies in the darkness. This is the wind rune. It brings me closer to the storm giants. Allows me to perceive things that are hidden, mysterious, these such things. It also allows me to adjust the winds to bend to my will when I need to avert a blow from striking one of my allies.
I think, and he takes a sip. I think I like what you are doing with your life. This is good. I feel a certain kinship with you, as I once sought out to unite the orc clans, to bring them into a better and less savage life. So many orcs have joined society, but yet there are so many tribes and banditries out there that do not.
Where I come from, far to the north, in Icewind Dale, there are orc tribes that can pass their lineage for thousands of years. They've lived in harmony with the mountains, grown alongside their people, and breed strong, true, and noble warriors.
Yes.
Not all follow Groomsh.
Yes. The influence of the dark gods has been most unfortunate. I am glad to hear that there are others like myself who seek out the knowledge of the ancients. Have you finished your tea?
Yorno hasn't even touched it yet. He was so enthralled with the conversation. He takes a sip.
Your name, and he points over at you, Sprocket.
I set down my empty cup of tea. Oh, mine's Sprocket Fire Whistle.
why do you adventure?
Well, I wanted to see amazing things. I wanted to see what was out in the world that people made and created and got lost and find it again. And I wanted to make new and exciting things, and I figured it would give me inspiration.
And your friend? And he points over at Bimgog.
I mean, my name's Bimgog, but I mean, it's kind of changed. Initially, I was kind of trying to run from family to try to keep them alive, and now I think I'm trying to figure out another way to make them kind of learn how to exist with the rest of society so they don't get killed.
Bjorno, do me a favor. Finish your tea.
Yeah, I'll down the tea, and your tune, it's familiar to me. I've heard it before, long ago. The words escaped me.
The words escaped those who I learned it from, but not everything did. Let me see your cup.
I passed the cup back over.
He looks at it. He kind of swirls the dregs around.
You are performing a divination.
Well, there's many things that runes can be used for.
Indeed.
He grabs a spoon from behind him and scoops the leaves up, and takes them and flops them down on the table in front of you. You all watch as this kind of leafy gloop ends up on the table, and he uses the spoon to start drawing in almost a calligraphy style with the leaves. And after about 10 seconds, you recognize that he's drawing a stone rune. He says, "This is what you know as the stone rune."
Yes.
More to these runes. You have been taught a very elementary level of what it is to consult the runes. I will teach you this, and then I will sell you the armor. I will sell you at a special price. I will do 1,300.
Very reasonable. I'm sure we can find that accommodating, and I look over to Sprocket.
Yeah.
Now, you see, this is the stone rune as you know it, and it's drawn out on the table. But if you add this, and he adds like a line here, he cleans another line, and he puts his hand over it and he says a word, and you notice that it glows, and he smiles, and he takes his fist, and he reaches over to grab like an old shield that's on the wall. You see, and he punches through the shield. Strength, and he raises his hand and he punches the rune where the table is, and it holds. Is much of what is not just one's intrinsic trait, but it is built in resolve.
Fortitude.
Yes. You will find that if you use this rune and you carve it this way as opposed to this way, you may find additional benefits in regards to your own endurance. I would be willing to teach you more, although I do not have the time now to do so. But when you come through town, please stop in again, and perhaps we can further explore the runes and their meanings.
I will return to you, Garn. Thank you. You honor me with these teachings. It was hard enough to find a mentor, but when I was a squire, I'm afraid my people are a dying one. Not the Goliath, but the Rune Knights. It's harder and harder to find those that are willing to take up the challenge.
It is a challenge, indeed, but it is one that makes each of us stronger. Such knowledge must be preserved, but it also must be kept safe from those who would otherwise abuse it. Be careful who you teach these magics to. Now, about that armor. And he slugs the rest of his drink. He takes the broken shield and chucks it in the corner. Go out front. I will be out shortly.
Do you want me to pay you back here?
I've got the register is up front.
Okay.
So you guys head back to the front. You hear him go into the back. You hear some clattering, some clanging, and he comes back out front with a very large wooden crate. He's kind of he's got two ropes over the end of it, and he's walking it towards you. It's almost like he's walking with like a 6 foot long crate in front of him, but he's using his incredible strength to hold it level as he walks forward. And he grunts as he sets it down, and he pulls out a pry bar and pries the crate open. And what you see in front of you is an ancient set of full plate. But you notice that it's already got that improved stone rune on it and a cloud giant rune.
Ooh.
This is an armor that was owned by a compatriot of mine, a Goliath like you. He did not have the same love for his people as you do, but I feel confident you will wear it with honor. I should mention my price also includes the exchange of your full plate you are wearing now.
Oh, of course. It has
That
only
makes more
recently
sense.
come into my possession, but you are welcome to it. Hopefully, perhaps you meet another one on the path that might fill its shell and serve it good going into the future.
Hopefully, but and he pulls the armor out, and you actually see dust kind of fall off of the plates as the hay that it was kind of set into is disintegrated for how long it's been in this box.
I'm gonna pick up a gauntlet and walk it over to Bimgog, and I'm gonna show it to him real close. If you look deep within, you can see it's full of stars. And the adamantium, it glistens
Ooh.
like jet, onyx. Beautiful, hard.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dark black color. It still has the polish effect of a steel type armor, but it's truly gleaming. It doesn't appear to have a scratch on it. It's weird. It is something that doesn't necessarily wear with scratches and in things, in dents and things like that. At the same time, you can tell it's worn. It's not a new set of armor. This is something that was loved and worn through and through. And so he spends the next hour helping you doff your armor and learn to put on this new armor set, which has a few embellishments, a bit of a more ancient style. You'll definitely be out of dress for the modern styling, but it is in fact full adamantine full plate.
Nice.
He opens up a cash register, and you notice as he pulls it out, a bag, the bottom of a bag falls out from underneath it. He says that'll be, I believe, 1,300 was our agreed upon price.
Oh, sure. And I go over and I put my bag above his cash register. I say 1,300 gold pieces.
Clunks out.
Was it just the coins?
Just the coins.
Okay.
He closes his cash register, and you watch as the arcane lock emblem appears on it.
I'm performing a rune night ritual over this old armor as I pack it into the crate, and basically it's a passing of the torch, a rite for it.
A
blessing to its next wearer.
He notices you doing this, and he grabs some incense off the shelves, and he lights them for you. It's you get the smell of kind of like a glacial spring in the air of the shop. It reminds you much of home as you put it away.
You have a lot of other things here in this shop too. I look around.
Yes, I was an adventurer back in my day.
Well, I'm looking for some other things for other companions of ours. Maybe you could give some recommendations. I don't really know too much about some of their specialties, but I can tell you a little bit about them, and maybe you could recommend something.
Well, how much gold do you have? Because that's going to be your major limiting factor.
That's fair. I like look at the bag, and I look about 2,500 more left.
Okay. Tell me of your companions.
Well, I've got one who's a spicy mushroom. She's a druid. She uses nature magics, and she loves wolves, and snakes. She's really nice. And mean. And paranoid.
Nice, mean, and paranoid.
In that order.
There was a druid in my party who had not the same suspicions, but could be somewhat cantankerous. And he goes back into a corner of the shop, and he pushes some parts away, and he comes back, and he's carrying an orange breastplate. It's made of some sort of chitin. This is scorpion chitin.
Oh wow.
Breastplate. Druids like it as it's natural and not metal. It doesn't interfere with their magics.
Okay.
Something like this would run you 500.
Okay. All right. So I'll think about that. Another of our companions. She's an arcanist. And she is very, very pretty. And she likes to set things on fire and drink a lot. Like, I think she could drink Bjorno under the table.
Likes to drink.
Set things on fire.
Set things on fire. Give me a moment.
And she loves her grandma.
Loves her grandmother. I mean, I don't have anything for grandmothers. Usually I work with a younger type.
Well, she's really young. She just loves her grandmother.
You said she's a bit of a spellcaster. She carry books around?
No books. She just does it. I never see her studying.
Never see her studying. Anything you can tell me about her past? Has she made an auspicious deal with some sort of higher power?
I mean, maybe when she was blackout drunk. But I think she's talked about a lot of dragons before.
The magic, I believe, is in her blood. I believe she is a sorceress.
I have an idea. It's not your usual item, but it may yet work. It's not popular by its nature, but he goes into the back, or he goes into another part of the shop, and you see him grab some heavy leather gloves as he opens a chest. You hear him mumbling a prayer under his breath as he reaches in, and he comes back with a flask. And
She's gonna like that.
Already looking good.
Has a spike on the back of it that's kind of folded down. This is a blood magic flask.
Okay.
It's technically cursed.
Like vampires?
Which is why I'm wearing these gloves.
That's less ideal.
Well, it lets a sorcerer tap into their latent magics if they don't use all of their magics in a day, they can bleed themselves of any excess magical energies, usually in the form of things that provide them health and protection. And in doing so, they can drink those energies and gain access to some more latent magic, should they have already expended all of their reserves.
So basically, they can bottle up today's power for tomorrow.
Yes, but it only works if they can drink it. They can only do that if they've already completely expended themselves.
Okay. What's the curse?
And at the cost, well, that's the thing. At the cost of actual health when you drink it.
Oh, okay, so it hurts them to drink it.
Yes.
Really bad?
But they can.
About for how much they put into it. Explaining it mechanics-wise, essentially what you can do is there's a lot of sorcerer spells that give you temporary hit points. If you use one of those spells and then you sacrifice those hit points into the bottle, when you drink it, you can regain a sorcery point, but you lose the amount of hit points that you had to put into the bottle, which is at a minimum, it's going to be your hit die, so 8. So you have to be willing to take 8 damage, and you have to have done it the night before. That's the other thing. The potency only lasts for 24 hours.
Okay. How much is that?
So it...
You know, with it not being popular and cursed and terrible and no one wants it.
And cursed. It is totally cursed.
I could let it go for 500.
Okay. Think about that one. And our last companion. That's Bob. Bob is a bird person, and they're really good with a rapier, and they do lots of backflips, and she's super sneaky, or he's super sneaky, and he can see everything, and he has a really good ability to, like, say everything that we're saying, but back at us the exact same way.
Looks like he's thinking really hard. They're sneaky, you said.
Yeah, they're pretty good at it. I was thinking about just getting them a flaming short sword, but I figured maybe you have something here that's even better.
I do have one of those, but they run about 1,500.
Yeah, that's what the other guy said.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm not going to say that there's price fixing involved, but at the end of the day, we know how much it costs to go into a weapon like this, so it's important that we, manage that in that regard.
I get it. I'm a crafter. I understand.
Now, what you might want to consider, and he reaches off another shelf high up, and he tosses a pair of bracers at Bimgog.
Oh, what's this?
It'll make you shoot more straight.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm a big fan of that. But
I figured by the crossbows you're carrying.
What would it run is the real question.
1,500.
And everything seems to be 1,500 these days here in the city.
Bracers of archery are a very popular item. They are difficult to produce, and the elves don't often let that type of magic out.
Oh, I definitely understand.
So, what would you all like to purchase?
Callie, remind me, I mean, I've seen Serenia a ton. Does she wear any armor right now? Leather, hide?
It's hide, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't want to make those decisions for them, I don't think. especially the cursed one. Alex may or may not like that. But what I'll do is I'll tell them that you have that stuff, and if they want it, can they come back and buy it?
Yeah, as long as it's as long as it's here, it's available.
Okay.
I can tell you that the flask will probably be here.
That's fair.
I don't generally advertise my possession of it. The bracers may or may not. The flaming short sword probably, but you can get that at just about any magic shop.
Yeah, I figured that one. All right, perfect. Well, all right. Well, we'll
The farms are getting a little close these days.
yeah. If the goblin is getting busy. All right. Well, I don't have anything else I'm looking for right now. So I appreciate all your time.
Of course.
Thank you for the armor for Bjorno.
Of course. He
I am
reaches
honored.
down and takes the bracers back out of Bimgog's hands.
Oh no, I'm an honest goblin.
Best of luck to you all, and Bjorno, I expect to see you in the coming months.
Of course, I shall return.
Be sure to come back to Grux.
Thank you. And then I turn and leave.
Waves you all out. Or Gertz.
Yeah, it hurts. That's it for me. I'm gonna head back to the boat.
Okay. Bob and Alex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your patience. You guys have
Okay, we need this time to study the map.
You guys have disembarked with Onthar. You have an idea of where you want to go. It looks like you're going to be going through the residential quarter to if you wanted to go to any bars that might need products dropped off at. And then Onthar wanted to take you to the Order of the Gauntlet headquarters to introduce you to some folks.
Me?
Both of you.
Oh, exciting. Is there a place called the Beggar's Cup along the way?
Are you asking him? You say
Yeah.
you know where it's at. You studied the map.
Oh, well then, yeah, no, I'll just gotta stop over there real quick and then we can go and meet your friends.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Bob, do you need anything?
No, I'm here to escort my friend and just enjoy drinking as we go along.
To enjoy drinking, and Alex will pass around a bottle.
Onthar pulls out his mug and fills it. Don't worry, there's no open container laws here.
God bless Baldur's Gate.
So you guys are walking through the city. Is there anything else that you're looking for while you're on your way? You guys, what are you guys doing? You're making a beeline for your objective?
Yeah, because I assume I can also buy my own liquor there as well. So, and if I can't, there's probably a bar right next door to it.
I'm trying to get back to the
go
ship.
there first.
I'm trying to get back to the ship. I'm imagining I'm going to now get a lot of attention.
Yeah, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that in a minute. So yeah, I mean, you kind of walk through the residential quarter. Onthar's a little surprised because he wanted to take you guys to the religious quarter, but it's just walking a different route about. What are we looking for in here? You all have friends you're looking to visit.
Well, I need to pick up a bunch of bottles for the people on the dock so me and Bob can go talk to them later. And then I gotta go pick up something Duncan wanted. I don't know if they're gonna have it or not, but I was gonna see if they did. And then after that, we can go over to the religious section and meet your friends.
Okay. Well, lead the way. After about
lead the way to the Beggar's Cup.
Okay, yeah, after about 20 minutes, you get to that part of town. You notice that it's pretty run down here. You're in kind of the poorer area of town, and by poorer I mean, this is Baldur's Gate squalor. It smells bad. There are people constantly begging around you. The houses don't even have windows. And by that I mean they don't have glass panes, or they don't have shutters to keep the cold out. There's rags hanging in the window. Unthar looks visibly uncomfortable. You're
Unthar's part of Duncan's crew, right?
No.
Who is Unthar?
Dwarven Paladin.
Yeah, maybe we should have gone and met and then did the other things next.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I thought he was part of like the crew. I didn't realize this is a whole different thing. Yeah, with that, let's go to the religious area first.
Well, I mean, you had business in the Beggar's Cup.
Well,
I was just gonna buy a bunch of like really cheap alcohol at the best prices, and this is the best place to do that. But
one of the crewmen recommended this place.
Yes.
Roll deception.
Also, I did not realize that you were not a crewman. I'm so sorry.
Kind of looks you over.
Am I getting hazed?
Oh, I'm going to assist on that because I do have proficiency, so rolling it.
Yeah. I don't have.
I'm getting hazed.
Hold on one moment. He looks you up and down. Okay, yeah, I can believe one of your crewmen would send you here as a practical joke. It's a bit of a shady part of town to do any sort of business in. Why don't we get out of here before anybody sees us?
Sounds great. Let's get back on track. Where are we going again?
Where else did you have business? I can take you to the Order of the Gauntlet.
Let's do that.
Okay. He walks you through the city, and for the most part, you guys take a direct beeline out of the part of town that you were in, as he works you towards the works you back towards the more established, built-up part of the area. He's going to take you to a building where you notice he's got his crest for the Order of the Gauntlet. There's a gigantic one up on the front of the building. They're very open about their presence as being a member of the Order of the Gauntlet is a sign of high moral turpitude and such. He just simply opens the door and says, I will be right back. Bob, I could actually use your help if you'd like to wait out here for a second. Alex, we'll be right back.
All right.
And Bob pulls you in, closes the door behind him, and starts walking you down the hallway. And Alex, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to try not to metagame on this one.
Alex just kind of like looks around like, what did I do? Leans against the wall.
I thought I had a pretty good read on you and your friends. Does Alex work for Captain Duncan?
No, I believe it's only been a matter of weeks that Alex has known the captain. So,
how long have you known the captain?
No, many years.
Interesting. How would you describe his character?
He is a very economic person.
Makes sense. He's a tradesman. Very
yes.
well. And he opens a door into into his private quarters. He says, I'll be right back. And he comes back out. You can hear something that he's dragging to the door, and he finally opens it, and you can see inside. It's very much a mess in there. As he pulls out a very large crate, and you hear glass jingling inside of it.
Oh my.
Could you help me carry this?
Of course.
I'll
take one side.
Give me a strength check.
Oh, jeez, Pete. I am not strong in any way. There's gonna be glass broken. I can feel it. Right here. I can feel it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Waiting for that roll to come through.
Oh.
You go to lift
it,
and you literally can't pick it up.
Yeah. I'll help slide. He can lift one side. I'll slide the other.
You know what? He actually just pops open the lid, and you see a collection of very nice assorted bottles of wines. And he's like, "You got a bag?"
Yes.
He grabs 5 or 6 bottles and starts dropping them into your bag. He grabs a couple, he puts them into his bag, and he pushes the crate back inside and closes the door.
Okay.
Got my personal stores. Yeah, let's go get Alex, and we can return to the ship.
Yes. Excellent plan.
Alex, you hear them coming back out, and they open the door. He says, "Well, I've got the supplies that I need. Introduce you to my friends Jim and Beam. So let's head back to the ship, and we'll see what you all are going to be getting into. Actually, why don't you two head back? I do need to talk to the head of my order to find out what's been going on with the cult."
No problem. We will meet you back at the ship.
Is that where you all will be staying tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
Because okay, well, if you decide not to stay on the ship, there is a nice inn, so the Bearded Lady. Very nice, good, comfortable rooms. About right
You
for an
wouldn't be
adventuring
pranking
group.
me on that, right?
No, I
Okay.
never joke.
Well, that place
Okay.
sounds aesthetically appealing.
All right. Well, I will meet you all on the ship later this evening.
All right, see you later. And then I'll take Bob, and
Nods
we're
and
gonna go.
closes the door behind him. You
Me
two
and
are
Bob are
standing.
gonna go back to the shady area of town.
Hey, Alex, I
Okay.
think we fucked that up.
Uh,
I don't think he trusts us anymore.
Well, that was Free the Player's fault, so it's great. We'll do it live from here on out.
Fuck that.
My bad. My bad. My bad.
Okay, you.
I wasn't planning to play a spy character this time. I was told to go buy stout wine, so I'm gonna go buy stout wine.
You guys make your way back to the Beggar's Cup.
Yeah.
You push the door open. There's a lot of resistance to it opening, as you know. Notice that the frame of the door isn't even straight in this crooked place. What do you do?
Well, how many people are inside of there right now?
There's a barkeep. There is a figure who is passed out in the corner with a cloak over his face. But you can tell he's passed out by the absolute slouch that he's got going on. And then there's 2 figures in the center of the room at a circular table speaking to each other in hushed tones.
Is there anybody in the back booth?
Not that you can see.
Okay, well, I'm gonna head over towards the back booth
Okay.
and sit down there.
Okay. Barkeep walks over. Can I help you?
Yes, I need well, how much alcohol can I buy from you? quantity wise.
I'm not exactly a store lady.
Well, I know, but I'm here and I might as well just take care of all of this at once. I'm looking for like 3 or 4 bottles of whiskey, if possible. And then maybe a couple bottles of wine, and then a stout wine. And then
nobody who can afford wine comes to the Beggar's Cup.
okay, well then I'll just take
We've
the
got-
stout wine.
We've got Firewater, we've got Perf.
No stout wine.
Ah,
No stout wine.
Alex is gonna turn to Bob and just be like, "I was being hazed."
People
Yeah.
who ask for stout wine tend to walk out afterwards. And you notice that his facial expression shifts.
Well, can I buy like 3 bottles of whiskey from you though? Maybe 4.
I can give you 4 bottles of Firewater.
That works.
Okay, they're gonna be 5 gold a pop.
Okay. Down 20 gold on the table.
Now you take scoops
I need
the gold.
to interrupt for a second. Sorry. Can she get an insight roll to pick up on what you were putting down back there, Dave?
Yeah,
oh no, I
Bree,
knew
you might-
exactly. I knew exactly what he was doing. Alex is fucking this up.
Oh, okay.
So
But I also still need to buy like 4 bottles of whiskey.
yeah,
so
I mean, he
I'm
goes
here now.
he leaves you alone to go get the whiskey. He'll come back about a minute later.
Dang it. I'm gonna pull inspiration on that one. But I'm gonna slide a hand to hide the pouch underneath the cushions.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you manage to just kind of you knock a bottle over onto a empty glass onto the floor, and the clatter kind of allows you some time to lean over and pull the cushion up and drop the coin pouch down in what you now recognize as a compartment that's probably designed for this. Before picking the glass up, he comes back over and drops four unmarked bottles with triple X written on the side of them.
Perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for. Thank you, my good sir.
And he just kind of stares at you.
I'll leave now.
He watches you leave.
As soon as we get onto the street, I'm gonna open a bottle and hand it to Bob.
Oh yeah, I'm taking a swig of that. That was harrowing.
Ooh,
and
roll me a
embarrassing.
Constitution save.
Even if I'm throwing up in the gutter here very soon, that was harrowing and embarrassing. So I'm gonna take a swig.
I will immediately follow with one too.
So Bob, you take a swig, and like just the sniffing alone, you're like, I know this is jet fuel. You don't even know what jet fuel is, but you have the feeling that if you lit this in an enclosed space with a small exit, it would propel something very far, very fast. It is very strong. But you've shot stuff like this before when Erbird comes back from one of his shady dealings. So you cough and you sputter and you definitely feel a little bit of a buzz. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Alex's roll. Alex, that is your experience. Bob, you are you're not schnackered, but you definitely start coughing and sputtering. This is the hardest drink you've ever had.
Yeah.
Your throat feels like it's on fire. Even your weird bird nostrils are burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
I'm trying to with my nose.
Yeah,
Just-
you're having trouble functioning afterwards.
Yeah.
Just really wrecks your body.
But it at least it distracts me from the embarrassment, so we're good.
Yeah, you start fitting in a little bit better as you look so disheveled, because you basically feel like you drank poison.
Yeah.
that's because you drank poison.
That's
Yeah.
good stuff right there.
And so at the end of you're getting close to evening. When you get back, Bjorno and Sprocket and Bimgog are all sitting on the deck, along with Serenia, and yeah, the boat's still there. Captain's kind of sitting there with his feet kicked up.
I'm gonna go bring this fire water over to the captain and share it with him.
He smiles. He says, "You got a bottle for me, or are you just gonna give me a sip?"
No, I got a bottle for you. I'll hand him one.
He'll take it, and he'll smile, and he'll grab a flask out from a pocket you didn't know that he had, and he'll fill it up and hand you the bottle back.
Hey, everyone.
I assume you all had a productive day.
Made friends, maybe lost, alienated other friends. You know, it's one of those kind of days.
Couldn't find that drink that you were asking for.
I got a Rocky Talkie.
A Rocky Talkie?
Sorry, will hold up the Rocky Talkie.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, now you can see one, and now you can tell people you saw a Rocky Talkie.
That seems like it'd be useful.
Serenia, come try this fire water.
It has 3 X's on the bottle, Alex.
That's how you know it's good.
That's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know it's good.
What happened to the elven stuff that I helped purchase? I'll drink that.
I don't know. This stuff will help clear out your sinuses and pretend that they never existed.
Do
I
you
mean,
have
you
any
really
more
have
of
to
that
try it
left?
once.
How long have we been drinking out of that keg?
Alex, I only had like 2 of those drinks from the whole keg. How is it
Well,
going?
then we have a whole crew here too. You can't just.
You got about a half keg left.
Okay, we think you're
Maybe-
fine. Yeah, we'll
maybe
get
a
you some
third.
elven ale.
I'll go get a glass of elven ale and not from the 3X bottle.
Okay. Give me a Constitution roll if you start drinking. Yep, you're snackered.
From the good stuff? It's an ale.
Yeah, it's elven,
elven
ale.
That's fine.
That's why we paid so much for it. Remember? You
Well,
get drunk
good.
off
Doug, what
one
are you
mug.
drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking triple X, baby.
Yeah.
Good job. Join us.
The finest
I
of
bought
wood grain
Got a
alcohol.
shot.
You-
No,
you
don't
take
do it.
You take a drink of it, and you're kind of reminded of that time you were blinded, because your vision goes blurry for a second, kind of whitish, and it also reminds you of a time that one of the young goblins had been mixing a bunch of berries in a bottle and just kind of leaving it in the sun to bake, and
The good
they thought
stuff.
it's the good stuff.
This is the perfect good stuff.
Yes.
Well, I found some things that you all might be interested in, Alex and Serenia and Bob.
Oh.
Where is it?
It's back in town, the market section. A guy named Gertz. I didn't know if you would want it. I didn't want to make a decision about what you wear for you.
Thank you so
My mom told me
much.
that's a bad
Please
decision to
continue.
make for people.
You're right. Please continue.
Well, Serenia, he had this armor that was made of like bug carapace. And it's basically as hard as my armor as I like pound my scale mail. But you can wear it because it's not all metally.
That sounds cool.
And then Alex, he had this really neat flask that's cursed, and you can like put all of your spell energy that you haven't used for the day into it, and then use it the next day. But it'll hurt
But
you when
it's
you do it.
cursed.
It'll hurt you when you
It's
do
kind
it. It's like
It's-
oh shit, I need some extra oomph for my spells.
All right. Scary.
Yeah, it's kind of blood magic, but yeah. I don't think it does anything else. He was pretty honest with us.
That sounds pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Bob, he didn't have any trinkets or interesting things that he thought might work well for you. But I know this weapon maker in town, and he makes like swords and stuff, and he has one that can like set on fire. Or maybe I can even get different elements, like if you wanted electricity or poison people with it or something like that. I bet he could do that too. Because he did it with lances, so I'm sure he could do it with a sword.
Sounds interesting.
That would basically wipe away all of our liquid cash, though, if we did it. If we got those 3 things.
I don't think I need that flask at the moment.
Okay.
At some point, I'm gonna want like bracers like that, but not right now. I think we need to, like, I recall, like, you know, dying sucks, and it's good to have some coin on hand in case that happens. So
That's fair.
What bracers, Bimgog?
they were bracers to make someone who shoots bows shoot better.
Like elven people?
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, quick question. Was it 25 words or 25 characters?
25 words. It's per the message spell.
Sending spell.
I will
Send.
immediately, since I'm schnackered, pick up the Rocky Talkie and contact my new elf friend and be like, hey, do you guys have any bracers of archery? I'm asking for
I'm
a
gonna need
friend.
you to roleplay the knackering.
Alright, here, give me 2 seconds. I will make this more realistic. I'll be right back.
Bob, I think that I could eventually make that sword for you, but that would take time for me to be able to make it for you. So if you feel like you need like a better weapon now, then we can get it now, or if you feel like you could wait.
I'm in no rush. I have this good one here. It's the other one that's a little hinky, so I'm willing to wait for the good stuff.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Hi, new friend! I hope Ronk is well. I want to know if you have bracers of archery for other friend.
You have 6 more words.
Said.
I lost count. It counts. I lost count, so that's 25.
About a minute later, you hear the Enclave has access to making such things, but we do not have that many on hand. Could sell at a slightly reduced price. Send.
So Bimgog, they didn't give me a price, which is kind of shitty, to be fair, because I don't know what a reduced price for them is versus, you know, wherever you ask. But they do have them, and they did say reduced price, so maybe we could talk to them.
We could always try, but like, I'm just sitting there thinking like, there's the other bits, like, it's a good deal to like be able to hit stuff, but it's also a good deal for like you to keep your insides on your insides. So like,
I hit myself the most last like today. Like, my insides are my problem. Your outsides are your problem.
well,
If we can get it at a reduced cost, that's not a bad thing.
we could always ask, but I mean like, a lot of my problem was fixed because I'm
Well,
really good
okay.
at-
Well, then we can't ask because we have to wait a whole day before we ask again. I get one message a day. We asked, they responded, they said reduced cost. I don't know what that means. We have to walk all the way over there. I'm not walking all the way over there tonight. So,
Well, it's all good. We can wait. I'm just saying that my problem was kind of solved because, like, Bjorno got new armor, and that helps because I'm really good at shooting Bjorno, and that
It is
means
true.
that.
Perhaps the greatest Goliath archer who ever lived.
Crockett, how
Wow.
much money do we have?
Right now,
Yes.
we have 2,476 gold pieces in our
Crush
coffin.
you like a bug.
I didn't do it on purpose.
Splat.
Do we need that much money?
Yes.
Do we though, Bob?
Yes.
Would you rather a flame sword or money?
For context, guys, a +1 weapon is going to be 1,000. A +1 weapon with a damage enchantment is going to be 1,500. Bjorno's armor would have normally been around $2,000, but you had to trade in among other things. But the amount of money that you have is a very high amount of money. You are essentially high rollers right now.
So, also for context, Dave, Serenia is a furbolg who doesn't believe in material possessions such as money. She wants the
Furbolg druid.
things
Yeah, I get it.
to make us safe.
So, Cerny, an option. I think it would be good to get you that armor first off. I think that would be really good. That'll still leave us with like 1,900 gold pieces. And if we don't want to buy the short sword right now, like I was telling Bob, I think that I could make that with enough time. If Bob is comfortable waiting, then what we can do is we could pick up potions and scrolls that we could use when we need those types of things.
Sprocket. All right. So here's the question. What if tomorrow you wake up without that 1,900 gold?
Why would I?
What if it's gone?
Who would take it? It's in
You
my
know who
locked
would take it.
bag.
We're not gonna have this conversation. We're not gonna have this conversation anymore. It could be taken.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the new question is it better if Bob gets a shiny cool weapon, or if Bimgog gets a shiny cool thing that makes him better at weapons?
I'm okay spending it. I'm not saying that we should hoard the gold. I don't think that's useful.
Yeah. Okay. So, what should we do? Bob weapon, Bimgog weapon, go.
I don't think that I could make. I don't think I can make Bimgod's brace. It's only Elven. Elven people don't make that good of stuff. I can make that. It would take time. And I can't put too many irons in the fire. Or I could if I had multiple fires. If we
This is a group conversation, by the way. I want us all to agree because I don't think we need to sit on that much money. That's too much money. It's too much money.
we could buy your
No
armor,
such thing as too
and then we
much
could
money.
buy either the short sword and the bracers, and still have like 400 gold pieces. And I think it would be good to like pick up some potions and scrolls of things that would be useful for us to have. Like you guys can cast a lot of healing, and I can even cast a little bit of healing, but we can't be everywhere all at once healing people. I got really fucked up in that water.
Yeah, that's true. Healing potions would help because I'm not the best at the healing bits.
Would a swimming potion help you, Sprocket?
I mean, it would have in
How
that
long are we
particular
going to be on the
scenario.
boat for?
I don't know how long we're gonna be. I didn't think we were gonna be on a boat at all. Now we've been on a boat like a lot of times, so.
So,
I've been on a boat a lot of times.
honestly, I think it's equal whether Bob gets a short sword because Bob already has the rapier, or if Bimgog gets the bracers because Bimgog already has my infusion on his crossbow, enhancing it the same way. So it's really 50-50. Like it's useful either way, which one gets which.
Here's my thought. I think as much as it'd be great to sit there and get bracers, Bob has the ability to have one good blade right now and one less good blade. And the way I view it is that I believe that bringing me back to life was not a free endeavor, and I still feel bad about bleeding all over the place and flying across the world here. But that said, if Bob's able to stab things to death a lot faster, then we all don't die as fast. And I'm a big fan of that. So, like, there's going to be more bracers, guys. That's kind of where I'm thinking. I think there's going to be more bracers.
All right, then we'll get the sword.
Well, yeah, we know there's gonna be more bracers. My Rocky Talkie told me there was. So we can touch bases and figure out what discount price this later.
Yeah.
We are all agreed that the throughput, the damage that Bob will do is worth the investment.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Spend the money. Spend the money.
All right.
Spend the money.
Well,
Spend the money.
we'll go back to my blacksmith friend and we'll pick up the sword, and then Gert can give us the armor, and then I'm sure we can find a place that sells potions.
Is there anything else you need, Sprocket, or is it gonna be your lance is your key now?
I mean, the lance was really big for me, with what I'm good at doing. And then I think I'd rather try and work on some of my own stuff, rather than purchase it. So I don't really need to buy anything right now.
I want the flying carpet.
I mean, I'd rather build the
Oh, I want a
ship.
flying carpet too.
Flying carpets.
Flying
That's
ship.
real?
Flying ship.
Flying ship. Can we put flying carpets on the flying ship?
We could.
Yeah.
They're like lifeboats. Little
Logan
dinghies.
speaks up. I've been working on a flying ship. Flying ship. Flying ship.
Yeah.
Ooh.
How's it
Where
coming
you at?
along?
About 3/4 of the way there. If I can,
Do you have the flying part down or just the ship part down?
right now it's just the ship, but I
It's
have
important.
dreams of owning a flyer. There's talks of I'm saving up to pay off some debts, and possibly finance a new one.
What do you need to make a flying ship?
Oh, another 15, 20
100?
thousand.
That
So
sounds
what
about
we're
right.
going to do is we're going to set our forth a new quest to find Captain Duncan, a Halruan heiress.
That's a lot of money.
You know,
A magical sugar mama.
Do you know of any buried treasure anywhere, Captain Duncan? They'll have 20,000 gold pieces.
I got this map here. It's got an X marks the spot.
Help us, help you, help us. Is all I'm saying.
I did want to let you all know. I've got a few more errands to run, as it were. But I did put my ear down to the ground, and I found out what happened with all these ships.
Yeah,
What
I was
happened?
curious.
It seems that some ships during the night are being attacked. A strange fog rolls in around the ships, and a very large ship that nobody can find during the day seems to approach them and board them. And terrible
You need me to be a
things happen.
fish? I can be a fish.
You're
Sure,
a
you take-
fucking druid.
Thorny's gonna take another drink.
You're too big to be a fish.
I could be a fish. Watch me. Serenia will turn into a fish and jump off the side of.
Okay.
Well, at least she
Uh,
won't drown.
Now
So
I need you to make a perception check and a
There's some-
survival check.
There's some
No, I
big
need
fishes
to-
out there.
I'm going to be whatever type. What's the water type that I'm jumping into?
You are jumping into ocean water.
I'm gonna be an ocean fish.
What you have seen?
Mahi tuna.
Roll
Barracuda.
me a survival check.
Swordfish.
Hold on 1 second.
Great white shark.
oh,
Orca.
I'm a fish.
Clownfish.
Roll me a D100.
I hope someone put
Because you
together a
didn't
100
specify
list.
the type of fish, and you are drunk.
I said an ocean fish.
An
You
ocean
want-
fish is not a type of fish.
I-
Well,
It
it is.
is.
It means
I
it can
I
be in
called out
saltwater.
turn into a molly. They can do both.
Ocean fish. Ocean fish.
It's either really good or really bad.
Roll on the rare fish list. Okay.
Ooh, rare fish list.
I'm a
Rare
rare fish.
fish.
I love that
Like
someone
an
put together
anchovy.
a fish list.
I
love
I
that.
will be nice, and I will not make you an anchovy. You are a blackfin tuna.
Blackfin tuna.
And as you land as you splash down into the water, you're kind of taken for a shock because you haven't turned into a fish before, and you're not used to it. But your instinct says move. So what do?
I am going to swim down under the boat, up, around again, hop out of the water, turn back into a person, and try to land back in the boat.
Okay.
And- Do I know the easy entry points for the boat? Like, if there's somewhere where there's a ladder, in which,
yeah, there's a few points.
because
give
I
me a
will be
moment.
aiming for there in case my stunt inevitably fails as a drunk first-time fish.
Moment. You feel a surge of water near your tail as a set of jaws try to clamp down on your tail.
Gotta go
Uh,
fast.
Gotta go fast. You do end up jumping out of the water to where you know there is a ladder. And as you climb out of the water, you notice a barracuda or two that are swimming around the boat.
Barracuda.
Just a
Bernia's
reminder, guys, you are in the docks of a major city. There is a lot of food and waste that is dropped here. So there's a lot of fish here.
Serena's gonna walk up on board. Anyway, so you see what I mean about being a fish, but maybe let's not do that. That was a little traumatic. But I can be a fish and find things under the water.
Okay. What I'm getting at is there's a boat that is attacking people. And I think that we could probably get a good amount of treasure taking it on. And what's the worst that can happen? It's a foggy ship.
Worst that could happen, you could end up in like Ravenloft. You don't know.
No.
That's
They're landlocked, aren't they? I've heard stories.
Ravenloft is landlocked.
Oh, okay. Good.
So I'm just saying, if you guys want to go out that way, I'm willing. I mean, what we would do is we'd take our ship here, our good ship here, and we'd sail it out, and then we'd put you all in a dinghy. Once we get an inkling of where that fog's rolling in, and then we take the big ship and we go the opposite way, and you guys could go after the ghost ship.
Ghost,
Right.
you did not say ghost
What?
ship. You
Do
said
they have,
ship you
like,
can't be
weapons?
seen.
Wait, ghost ship sounds awesome.
You said
I'm
you said they can't see it,
intrigued.
then you said foggy ship, and then you said ghost ship. This is an escalation of ship.
I
Is
ain't
this-
afraid of no ghost.
Is it a ghost
It's
ship or is it a ship
logical.
ghost?
I'm not afraid of ghosts,
makes
I'm
me
afraid
feel
of
good.
misinformation.
At this point, you
Yes,
all
Vigo.
are sitting on the dock, and Unthar comes up. He's got another two men with him, and he comes to the bottom of the deck.
Hey, sorry.
Permission to board. And Duncan's like, yeah, granted. Unthar strolls up. I got an update about what's going on with the cult. And Duncan lifts his glass, finishes it, and says, I will return. And he goes and stems back into the cabin. Onthar's like, so, after some talking with Leosin, we figure it would be smart for you all to know that the cult's movements have been tracked. We believe that they are hoarding some of their treasure in Castle Neratar. It's a castle not too far north of here, built on the edge of the Mere of Dead Men. I believe that our best bet for finding out what they intend to do would be to send you all to investigate and see what they are doing in there. There is an old castle that's sort of fallen into ruin, but as these people tend to be, it works for what they seek. There is an adult black dragon that lives in that swamp. So you all would want to be very careful where you tread there, not to awaken them. But it fits for the MO of this cult.
Can we get to the swamp by water?
I don't believe so. You could technically reach the middle of it, but you're going to have a lot more land to walk through. There are some roads that used to go through it that are now disused as the swamp has grown. That would probably be your best bet. Why do you ask?
Well, 'cause, we were thinking about going and hunting a ghost ship.
Ghost?
So I figured if we could do that on the way.
Well, I think we would have to come back for that. I think those are two different directions. But we could probably take the ship to a certain point, and then we can less walking to that destination. But that's just
See, that's what I was thinking. Then on the way we can be like, if we happen to get jumped by a ghost ship, we'd be prepared.
I don't know about any ghost ship. The other thing I wanted to let you all know is that the cultists have been improving the quality of their arms as of late. We believe that somebody's running weapons for them. We're not sure who, but keep your ear to the ground.
All right.
If you wish to hamstring an enemy, you must cut off their supply chain. I would prioritize finding where this merchant or armsman is and destroying their chain of supplies.
Any idea what they're arming themselves with?
Standard fare, long swords, scimitars.
But equipment of a superior than the simple spears and swords we've been dealing with recently.
Yeah, the difference between a set of chainmail produced in a village versus the set of chainmail produced in Baldur's Gate, it might not appear to be much, but the durability tends to be the lasting factor.
It also speaks to a patron who has some sort of legitimacy.
They've got enough money coming in from the raids that they've been doing on the towns. They've actually been moving up into larger towns as of recently.
That's not good.
I'm willing to entertain the idea of assaulting this spectral vessel, but we must return to the quest.
Well, I mean, you all can do what you all choose to do. You're adventurers. You're not bound to our orders or anything like that.
Maybe the ghost would want to team up against us with Tiamat. I can't imagine she would be good for spectral inhabitants in this realm.
I don't know, but Daggerford was the most recent city that the cult hit.
Daggerford.
That's no small village. They had a wall.
Well,
How many
Did the blue dragon
people
help?
have been impacted by the cult? How big was that village?
Oh, Daggerford's no village. It's
The
a small
city.
city. Good 1,000, 2,000 people.
Then when we're talking about impact of the cult versus the spectral ship who's attacking other ship, it sounds to me like the cult is having a higher, more precedented impact on cities and people.
I don't know that you could weigh the two against each other. The ship, if I'm hearing you correctly, is impacting free trade as well.
Unfortunately, we have to weigh the two against each other. Because if one is not in the path to complete the other, we have to pick one over the other to
Sorry to break characters, guys. On an out of character note, the ghost ship is a Halloween mod, which taking on will not impact the story advancement of the campaign that you're on, but does have opportunities for additional loot.
All right, let's fight the boat. Fight the boat.
Yeah, let's
Fight
go to
the
the
boat.
Boat.
Listen, Dave, if you want me to
Pass
take it in character, I'll go against the cult and I'll argue for the cult. But if it's a Halloween mod, like, let's just fucking fight a boat. That sounds fun.
Come on,
Okay.
guys! Halloween. There's a
I
ghost
gotta-
ship.
I
pour
gotta
Serenia
fully say
a
it.
shot, and I just tell her, but we have to deal with the ghosts.
Boat.
Like, there's a spooky ghost out there, and that ghost is gonna, like, look, it could hurt Captain Duncan's, goals.
More importantly, we don't know if it's a ghost ship or a ship ghost, and that's important, and we need to figure it out.
I'm
Or
going
could be
to
a
ignore
ghost
all of
boat.
your guys' logic because you guys all suck at making a good point. And we're just gonna go. Sorinia's just on board. I'm not gonna argue it.
I was going to talk about free trade, but I know Serenia wants nothing to do with that.
Actually, I am very much in favor of free trade. It's an important factor of the survival of species.
Ghost
However,
boat.
whole cities being destroyed.
Speaking of, Unthar,
Daggerford wasn't destroyed.
Was
We do
sacked.
suspect that there was
Thousands of
someone
people
on the inside.
impacted.
But yeah, they were sacked. They have enough food to make it through the fall and the winter, but there was definitely a lot of wealth lost.
Unthar, did they use the blue dragon for that attack too?
They
black.
did not.
Okay.
I
Was it
believe
the
they
black
used-
in
I
previous
believe there was a
list?
black dragon, which is why we were able to track them back to the mirror of dead men.
So they traded
I
out the
bet we
blue
stole
dragon
their
for the
babies.
black one.
I bet
Well,
we
the
stole
black
their
dragon.
babies.
Yeah, the black dragon's really pissed.
Yeah.
We should probably avoid that black dragon for a hot minute while it processes its grief and go after ghost ships.
That black dragon
When
should be
you're
pissed
all-
off at them. They're the ones who
Pick up
lost
the
their
Talkie
eggs.
Stone.
They did just leave
Oh my
the
god,
eggs
is this the
behind
egg mob?
with this.
Oh my god.
They did just leave
Maybe.
the eggs behind. It is on them. There was minimal guarding of the eggs.
Oh no.
God, consequences come for us.
Hmm.
Well, I assume you all are going to go deal with a ghost ship.
Yeah, it sounds safer.
Or
We'll
ship
be,
ghost.
we'll be real quick. Don't worry about it.
Oh, Mr. Bear.
Well, I will look forward to hearing from you, knowing that you all have solved that quest. The Enclave gave me this fancy new Rocky Talkie, and I'm not gonna lie, I love this thing.
Serenia will hold up hers and be like, call me sometime.
Yeah, Rocky Talkies.
Yeah, Rocky Talkies! High five!
He puts it in his pocket.
All right, we'll call you once we're done with these ghosts.
All right, I'm gonna go back to my duties. Keep an eye out for things, though. This smuggling thing could really bite us in the ass if we can't figure out where they're getting these supplies from. And he heads off the ship. It's nighttime. What would you all like to do?
I'm gonna light spooky lanterns and start making spooky ghost noises until the spooky ghosts appear.
Oh, is that how it
Me
works?
too.
Apparently
Runi's
it
going
We make
is.
Straight to
spooky ghost
sleep.
calls.
Straight to sleep.
Oh, I was thinking we could grab one of those XXX bottles and go to the other ships and commiserate and
Oh,
And-
no, we have
Serenia's
to- we
big
actually
drunk.
do have to
She's
do
she
that.
is like coming off the drunk and needs to go to bed.
No, Bob and I will go around with one of the bottles and share shots while people talk about their problems.
yes.
I'm gonna go to the forge and hang out.
Are you working on any projects tonight?
I I do want to work on a project in particular. I want to make an upgrade for Nomangellian, and the attack that we suffered on the way here gave me inspiration for it.
Okay, what are you working on?
I want to try and make like a harpoon gun,
Okay.
so that Nomangellian
you
can
have-
like scorpion people and get over here.
You have
I'll
some
su- I'll
experience
support
with
this plan.
projectiles, so it is something you probably could figure out in about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else? It is nighttime. Is anybody taking watch?
I'll take watch.
Absolutely not.
I'm helping Alexandra with the spooky ghost noises and lantern lighting.
Okay.
And the sharing of the
Getting at the
booze.
spirit.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm-
You find some gourds that are available to be carved and hollowed out.
I do it.
While I'm trying to do watch, I'm also trying to ask various crew members about anything they may have heard about the spooky ghost ship, and
Or ship ghost.
or ship ghost, and what sort of tales they know about it.
Yeah. So Pigeonhole comes out to hang his ass end over the side of the boat during the middle of your watch, and after he's done, he walk over to you and be like, "Oh, keeping late watch?"
Well, yeah, because I wanted to see. I've heard that there could be a ghost ship somewhere, and I was hoping I could see it.
Oh, the ghost ship. Yeah, the ghost ship ain't gonna be coming into port though. It's out in the ocean.
Oh,
They say
what's
they
what's it do out there?
well they say that if you're out on the ocean late at night, you'll and you're up to only pure of heart folk. If you're not a true scallywag, then the ghost ship tracks you down, and they'll take anyone who's pure of heart, and they drag them down to the depths, and they're given a choice. They can either become part of the ship and part of the crew, or you die.
So wait, let me make sure I get this straight. So, if you're a scallywag, they're fine with you, but if you're good, then they're like
Then they're coming for you.
okay, and then you get to join their crew and become a ghost pirate, or are you just a pirate on a ghost ship?
Well, and he kind of motions for you to come forward.
Bimgod gets really close.
He leans in close. They say that the first thing they do is grab you by the shoulders, and then they'll pull your head to the side and drain every last drop of blood.
Well, doesn't that mean you die either way?
and you suddenly feel a pair of hands grab your shoulders
Ah!
as One Stone kind of starts chuckling behind you.
What was going on? Why'd you do that?
You best start believing in ghost stories because you're in one.
Oh,
we don't believe in ghost stories. There's got to be an explanation out there. It's probably a set of particularly vicious pirates that just need to be sat down and ended. That's really why I think Captain's willing to go after him.
Well, as soon as he does this, I leave my watch, and I immediately go looking for a white sheet, and I will start creeping the hallways of the underside of the decks, looking for wayward sailors that are around, to sneak up behind them and make spooky noises.
Okay, who's got second watch?
I will.
Me. I'll go with Bob.
Okay, Bob and Alex. Alex, you see a small Bimgog size set of sheets with little holes cut out in them, wandering the halls. Bob, you see a weird spectral shape walking down the hallway towards you, going, woo!
Bob is both terrified and intrigued. Ghostliness is a secret obsession with Bob.
If
Bimgog,
it
what do you
can
do?
bleed, breed, or breathe, it can be choked to death.
Bimgog, what do you do?
As I see Bob in front of me,
Yeah.
I continue to creep up. Bimgog's arms in the air, going, oh,
Ghost is getting-
many sailors have died down below.
Ghost is getting bigger, and it's talking about sailors that have died down below, Bob.
Well, this is pretty awesome. I mean, really, to become part of that ship and forever chase down unsuspecting innocents is pretty darn tempting. And I will put my hand out and say, we shall go. I shall join you.
Yes, join me, Bob.
How did you know my name?
and the ghost immediately scurries down the hallway.
Wait.
The rest of your watch is uneventful. Third watch is also uneventful. The morning comes. You all feel pretty well rested. Alex, during like at the end of your watch, you did hear a little bit of thunking sound coming from the front of the boat. But when you went out to look for it, you didn't see anything. Nothing really raised your hackles.
Probably just the ghosts.
Probably. So daybreak comes. You guys have two options. You can go out into the deep ocean to look for this mysterious ghost ship.
Ship
or
ghost.
you can ship ghost.
Ghost boat.
Ghost boat.
Ghost boat.
Boat ghost.
Ghost boat may be the link we need to get to Skyboat.
Oh, it's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's not
Ooh.
actually floating, right? Like it has to be flying.
We just need to paint the hull with ectoplasm. We'll allow it.
Maybe if
Carry
we
it
just
along.
take the boat, we can just give the whole boat to Duncan, and that's a ghost boat's basically a flying boat. Same thing.
Yeah, it's a Dutchman.
Ho, ho, ho.
We'll
Maybe
cover
it
in
can't fly
ectoplasm
high.
and then play music and it'll fly around, just like Bjorn said.
The people just need to stay above, like, you know, the first floor for, like, so they can go across land.
You gotta sing the right magic sea shanty, and it'll carry the boat aloft.
Okay,
Higher
so
and
you guys are going
higher.
after the ghost boat.
Ah,
All right, we are going to take a quick break.
All right.
guys on the boat, there'll probably be a combat. And then I think I'm going to call it from there because it's going to be about 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock by the time we're done. And
Let's do
I
it.
feel like we're getting. So, all right, everybody ready? Let's do
Yep.
this. Okay, so morning has come. What would you guys like to do?
I'm gonna run into town real quick and pick up the short sword and the chitin or the chitin armor for the two.
Okay. You're able to do that same prices as yesterday, 500 for the chitin, 1,500 for the sword.
Okay. So that's 2K off. And
What's the party treasury at?
we're at 476 gold right now.
Okay.
I do want to swing by a potion shop too if I can find one in the district.
Okay, you do find drafts, droughts, and droats.
Okay.
It is a very dark building. The curtains are blackout, but the door is unlocked when you approach.
I will walk in. Hello?
Okay. You see hello. How can I help you? You see an elderly man with pallid blue skin, pure white hair. You imagine this would be a drow.
Hi, sir. I'm looking for
how
some
can I help you?
potions.
Very well. I make potions. What do you need?
I'm looking primarily for like healing potions, and if you have anything that's really good against ghosts.
Against ghosts?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of potions are good against ghosts. You're the expert.
I mean, I'm an expert on making potions. I mean,
You know what they can do.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, I really don't know what you would do for that.
How about we start with healing potions?
I do have those. They're going to be at their traditional prices. A potion of healing is usually 50 gold.
Okay. I will take. Should probably just get one for everybody. So I'll take 6 of them.
All right, that'll be 300.
All right. We should probably just keep some walking money. That'll be good for right now, I guess. Unless you know that you got something that's good for ghosts.
I don't know anything that's going to be good for a ghost.
Alright. That's fine. I appreciate all your work on these. Thank you.
Good luck. Have fun storming the castle or something. I don't know.
Ship ghost. And I run out the door.
Ship ghost. Okay. All right, you run out the door. You manage to make it back to the boat. Duncan and crew are already starting to pull the ropes up and start the casting off.
Alright, Serenia, here is your chitin armor. And Bob, here is your flame-tongued short sword.
Thank you.
Thanks. It looks great.
I can dye a different color for you later if you don't like the orange.
That sounds good. We'll talk about that. What colors do ghosts see?
I haven't ever met a ghost. I don't know. I would assume they're colorblind. That's an assumption.
I wouldn't. You know what? We're not gonna take the time now. We'll do it later. Maybe I'll be a big orange beacon. Maybe I won't. We'll do it later.
And I give everyone 1 potion of healing.
That'll be useful.
Bob, I've added the flame tongue short sword to your sheet if you refresh.
Oh, awesome.
And it's equipped for you, and you had to attune to it. So
We have had enough days since our last battle that we would have healed up, correct?
you always heal to full after a long rest.
All right.
It's the magic of Dungeons and Dragons. Sleep, broken bones, shattered
amazing.
spine, near death. 8
Take
hours
it.
of sleep, man.
I'll take it.
That's why this place breeds adventurers.
They're trying to tell us something that we refuse to accept. Just a good night's sleep. You have to
Just
do a good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep will fix anything.
Nope. Wizards, you're never getting me to sleep. It's a trap. Les petites morts, the small death.
That's
how
an
they-
That
orgasm.
is not what. Thank you, Marius.
That is not what we think it is.
Eyebrows wiggle.
Why would you guys tell everyone that?
We didn't tell everyone. You did.
It's funny,
No,
right?
you corrected me.
I,
I was gonna send people out into the world thinking that.
Who are you sending out into the world thinking that?
We have 5 watchers tonight.
Well, apparently those people are going to learn some things.
No,
But
they already
orgasms?
have moral relativity. You know, that's moral relativism.
Oh, relativism. A topic
You know
I could
what?
wax on about.
I should hope that the people that have found their way to the stream are old enough to learn about the small death, and that's not like something they have to ask their parents tomorrow. So
If so, sorry, Mom and Dad.
All right, Captain Duncan, let's get this ship ghost.
Okay, so you guys set out sail. It's the same. You know, everything seems the same, normal as it normally would be. You cast off. You know, really the plan is just kind of go out into the open ocean and see what's what. So your day's pretty uneventful. Who would like to take first watch?
Sure.
I'll do it.
Okay, Alex and Bimgog.
Do
Go
it.
ahead and give me some perception checks.
Looking out. Hoping I see something.
I'm still, by the way, I want to be clear, Dave. I am still wearing the sheet, but I have eye holes cut out of it so I can see.
Okay. You guys don't see anything. Your watch passes uneventfully. Who's taking second watch?
I'll take a second.
Anyone else? Bob alone? Okay, Bob, you're
All
on
right.
watch.
All
What are you
right.
doing for your watch?
I am just going to peruse the top of the ship, keep an eye out for mist and all that kind of good stuff. And also on the crossover with the seeing Bimgog, I'll be like, you ran away from me. We should have joined forces. But yeah.
Okay. Partway through the night, you think you see a little fog, but at the end of the day, your end of the night, you honestly think it's probably just a little mist setting heavy on the ocean. It's
Alright.
uneventful. Who's taking third watch?
Me.
me.
Okay. Give me perception checks.
I'm up with Sprocket.
Yep.
Hey Sprocket, should I check under the boat? I can do it. You want me to go talk to the fishies?
Yeah, that's a good idea. They might know where all the ghost ships are.
Alright, Sprocket, I am not good at this fishy thing. Should I go there as a reef shark or a sea lion?
I would go as a... I'll go as a reef shark.
Alright.
Okay. You,
Uh,
you
yep.
swan dive off the side of the boat. As soon as you hit the water, you is a reef shark within your CR limit?
It says it's a CR of a half. I pulled up a wild shape. I can send you what
Okay.
I'm looking at.
It's fine. I trust you.
This is
Um,
very difficult for me. They do not have a good list, frankly.
Not until you get the killer whale.
Or
The servants of Orcus.
Then it's a real
Servants of Orcus.
Those are-
Orcus.
fucking baller.
check for
Yeah,
the-
you hit the water. Give me a perception and a survival check.
Always.
You notice that a lot of the smaller fish immediately dart away from where you landed. You're guessing it's probably from the splash itself, but you do see a fair number of fish out in the ocean. There's a couple that are actually, there's a couple of schools that are actually following the boat.
When I'm in fish shape, do I also need to use speak with animal spell, or do
You
I?
would need to have the spell cast.
Okay. Can I do that? Do I have to before I?
Hold on one moment.
I'll do it in whatever order it needs done. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm just double checking that.
Mhm.
I believe you cannot do magic in animal form because you cannot speak or do those
Well,
things.
she could cast it
Isn't
before
it?
she goes in. I'm not
Yeah.
going to penalize her.
Yeah,
for that.
I was thinking cast if I had to cast before going, or if I.
You know, I'm going to allow it. It's magic. You know, sharks can't normally talk, but fish communicate somehow.
Well, yeah, it's not necessarily talking; it's just communicating, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can see the larger schools.
Friendly. I'm friendly. Hello.
But what do you want? What do you want? Food? You got food? You got food?
I
Are
can
you
have.
food?
I will have food. I'll feed for answers. Food for answers.
Okay. What do you want? What do you want?
Ghost ship.
What's a ghost ship?
Spooky ship. Foggy ship. Ship that floats above where it should float. A natural ship.
There's the ship that doesn't give us any food.
No, they're just mean.
Okay.
Ship
don't
that
know.
attacks other ships.
There's lots of ships that attack other ships.
Claws.
There's merfolk.
Can you take me to them? Are they close?
No.
Then no.
There's the ship that doesn't feed us only comes at night.
What does it look like?
Big ship. That's
How
why
does
we
other
expect food. It's so big.
How does other ships react?
They try to sail away. They run like us.
Does it get darker?
Yes, very dark.
Okay, where's the non-feeding ship?
It only comes at night.
It is night.
It's you notice that the sun's starting to rise.
It is night. Where is it?
We don't know. It just shows up sometimes. Sorry guys, I gotta let the pup out.
So I'll feed the fish and we'll try this again at first watch next time. Next night.
Okay, yeah, you can just drop some food off the back of the boat when you get up top.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to ask them to lead the boat towards it at nightfall, and we'll feed them more. So I don't have to do fish shape again.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
Cool. All right, you go back up top.
I will inform the party.
All right, rest of your watch is uneventful. You guys have another day of downtime. Is there anything you're doing during the day?
Work on the harpoon gun.
Okay. Luckily, you have plenty of space for practicing the firing mechanism.
I got the 6 harpoons to use too.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep feeding the fish throughout the day to keep them incentivized to stay with us and keep their promise.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you can just throw refuse over the side. Fruit. Wrappers from fruit, things like that. They generally gobble it right up.
I'm going to craft a spooky pumpkin helmet.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh.
Night falls again. Who's taking first watch?
Me.
Bjorna
I
will.
could do it.
Sorry,
as
I
well.
was going to try to work with Dog again about doing hugs, but I did a garbage job of it, so never mind.
Yeah. Dog gets really good at hugging, but doesn't really do good at letting go.
All right. So sorry. Keep going.
Okay. So Bimgog and Bjorno on first watch.
I am as well because I told the fish
And
I'd come back.
Okay.
Okay.
First watch comes. Need perception checks from everyone.
I am going to direct the shipmates who's doing the whatever to follow that fish group because we're following that fish group.
So you go to lean over to point the fish group out, and the first thing you notice is there's some fog creeping up out of the water.
Ooh.
It's very heavy.
I'm gonna go wake everyone else up immediately.
You all get woken up by Serenia.
Guys, it's here. It's here.
The ghost ship.
We found it.
I'm gonna follow Serenia back up top.
Yeah, going for it.
As you guys reach the surface, you notice that the fog is more and more rapidly rising on the starboard side of the ship. As it starts creeping up along the side, Duncan says, "Hey, why don't you all get in the dinghy, and I'll row you out, and old one I can take the wheel here and get our ship out of danger."
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocket, you got a light spell?
Don't cast it. We need to stay in the fog. Hidden.
Okay.
Okay, you guys all pile into the dinghy.
I'm gonna hand
looks
you a
like
necklace.
Duncan got a slightly bigger dinghy for you guys, given that he normally has a much smaller crew. He lowers the boat down into the water, and
Jolly
as
boat.
you guys cast off, the boat, Duncan's boat sails away to the port side. In doing so, you all watch as the fog begins to swirl around you. Sprocket, a cold bead of sweat drips down the back of your neck as you think that you hear the voices of your friends who left on an adventure without you. Turn back. Don't go there.
Hug No Magellan closer.
And peering out of the darkness, you begin to notice this massive ship. As you catch you catch the front of the bow of the ship coming into view, and you notice it's got this gargantuan bat. Where normally there would be a mermaid or a beautiful woman of some sort. Instead, there's a skeletal bat with giant fangs. The multiple masts of the ship are massive in size, well beyond the size of a normal human vessel. The multiple sails billowing in the breeze. As you're able to approach it, you notice there's a few places where you could attempt to board, and Duncan points them out to you. You're able to board the front of the very, very front of the boat. I've placed you guys on the boat, but for context, you are technically right up here. There's a small rope ladder for you to climb. As you all get off on the ladder, Duncan pushes off. What would you like to do?
Ascend.
So
Yeah.
as you get closer and closer, you watch in awe at the size of the naval construction before you. The luscious wood has engravings carved into the hull. Two tower-like structures. Moment. Handout wasn't scaling properly. Two tower-like structures forming the captain's cabin, and at the bow of the ship is a gigantic bat-like dragon figurehead merged with the rest of the structure. The design seems eerie and out of this world. No human hands could have possibly built this. As you look around, the only way in the ship seems to be the rope ladders that you are now hanging on. Your ascent begins. So, you guys climb onto the bow?
Most definitely.
Sprocket, give me an intelligence check.
Sure.
Or investigation. Anybody who's trained in investigation can also roll this.
Oh, yay.
I'm gonna use my inspiration to reroll that. I like that much better. 24.
Okay. You notice that the bat dragon, as you're climbing, seems to be staring at you. You can tell it's not alive, though. The other thing you notice is that the sails of the ship seem to be made of the same tissue as the wings of the bat.
Interesting.
Before you, the ship has these long metal grates that go to a lower part of the boat. And there is a mast with, of course, some crow's nests above it.
Well, do you want me to go and inspect? Be super sneaky?
Is there like any crew around that we can see?
Not that you can see.
Sneaky is probably a good choice.
I'm gonna do a bit of a sneakity sneak search here.
Where are you going to?
I am. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess right about here, I guess. I have to do
Okay.
a refresh because everything seems to be really clippy for me here. But yeah, that was my intention.
Okay. Yeah, and there is dynamic lighting on this page. Let's see. So as you walk over the metal grate, there's a bit of a strange feeling because it's not as humid as it should be, and it feels extremely quiet. And as you're walking over it and you're sneaking, making sure you don't step on anything that would give you away, beneath you, half translucent, you notice 3 ghostly pirates. They seem oblivious to your presence, but it looks as if they're just kind of standing in a lull. As you walk down the stairs, you see many ballistas that are attached on each side of the ship. As you start descending down, though, you see a thick green fog. The floor seems slightly obscured. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to head back before I do anything stupid, like the last time I tried to be sneaky and go way too far out of range, to give them a heads up that underneath there are the unresponsive ghostly figures, and also the weird green fog.
Did you communicate with them?
Oh, no. Not yet.
Yorno's gonna look at the ballistas, and then he's gonna get a big smile and pull out his battle knife.
So,
I cast disable ballista.
Okay,
Clonk,
so
clonk.
you're able to cut the ropes on the 4 ballistas up top.
Yep.
Do you want to go down into the fog?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Does anyone
Alright.
want to be a gas?
Also, my screen went like weird and gray, so I think I died of fright.
Maybe, I don't know.
Bob, do you want to be the most sneaky?
Well, I am the most sneaky.
I can make you into a gas cloud, and you can just go take a peek around.
That would be so
Thank you, that's
cool.
better.
It's not great though. Like if you get caught up somewhere, you like you
What
You-
what are the cons of this? I'm sorry.
you can only move 10 feet around and you can't do anything, but you can go through really small holes, and I don't think you'll get seen. You're a gas. I've never
you're
done
saying-
this before.
So you're saying it can go like down and check out the ghosties down below without having to actually go down the stairs in the green gas? I'm
Right.
all about it.
All right. Sereni's gonna cast gaseous form on Bob. Me.
Okay.
It's already really foggy, so you should blend in.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, you gotta be careful. You gotta come all the way out of before you can tell us anything, but it's a good recon.
Okay. Bob, you are gaseous. What would you like to do with this new experience?
Well, one, I'm going to revel in my incorporealness, and then like go down and go check out those ghosts that are unresponsive, or the figures that are ghastly underneath.
Okay. One moment.
They're a ghost, and now we have a ghost. Fair's fair.
You have low light vision in this area, as the cabin is very dimly lit, other than a few candles on a desk to your east.
All right. Well.
One of the pirates is just kind of standing there.
All right. Well, I will ghostly ruffle near the desk there and see if there's anything sitting on the top that I don't need to rummage and sort of eyeball it.
Are you sneaking?
Of course, I'm sneaking.
Okay, I will need another stealth roll. Managed to sneak around the back of them, although one of them turns their head a little bit, as if they're looking around for something. You're looking at the desk.
Yes.
Okay. This is a simple room. Desks, beds, a couple of drawers, and that's it. There is a small book on the desk. It looks like it has, in very crudely written letters, the word log on it.
All right. So, I will also sort of look at the. It's shut then. I can't look at the first page that it's open to. Correct.
Correct.
All right. And the figures that are there, I would like to do a closer look at them also.
Sure. I will actually do you one better. Can you see that?
Yes, it's quite large.
See what that looks like? That is an enlarged image.
Okay.
I thought that's a big ghost, man.
I know.
That's
yeah.
a big ghost.
All right, so they are definitely incorporeal.
Yes.
Correct. All right. All right.
There's
And
a door to your south
Mhm.
that you could possibly squeeze through.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'm a
Okay.
chance taker.
Okay. There's a chest in the middle of the room. I'm going to move you to the next room. So there's a chest in the middle of this room. Beyond that, it looks like there's a small writing desk with nothing of consequence on it, and some barrels. There's a door to your west and a door to your south.
I will go west.
Okay. Feel free to explore.
Oh, what is in the center there? Oh, it's an anvil?
It's an anvil.
Oh.
This room is filled with armors of all kinds. Nothing looks exceptionally fancy. There is a chest in the back with a set of somewhat nicer chainmail on top of it.
Mm. Very nice. Well, I head back out and go south.
Okay. South. Long Bob. Trying to figure out where it goes to.
Okay.
Going south leads you back out onto the deck.
Okay.
Where the green fog is. You're able to gingerly float above that fog.
Oh, thank goodness. All right. So the fog covers the whole lower area. If I
The whole lower deck, yes.
All right. So if I sort of floated over it and went towards the rear mast, is it no longer at the rear mast?
As you can't see super well that far, but you would imagine that if there is a raised area in the back of the boat, it probably would stay in the lower part.
All right. I'm totally on going over to the floating over the green stuff to get to the aft.
You reach the aft part of the boat.
All right.
This is the quarter deck. As you look around, the world seems to have fallen to silence. There's not a single soul around, and the deck is completely empty. You see ropes, barrels, ladders, and sails, but no one to man them. And when you listen, only the murmur of the waves and the wind can be heard. Behind you is what you reckon to be the helm and the captain's cabin. In front of you, the bow of the deck, but the way there seems to be covered by a thick green fog.
All right. So the you said the captain's quarters is not covered in green?
Correct.
All right. Well, I'm totally going in there.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. What you gonna find? What you gonna find?
The cool shit. That's what I'm gonna
Yes.
You're gonna find the ghost treasures.
find.
The treasure ghosts.
A treasure ghost. What is it? That's the best type of ghost.
It's like a treasure golem.
You find the poop cabin.
Yeah,
my
it
apologies,
happens.
This is not the captain's cabin. But you
The
go through
poopin's
the
area.
aft castle, past the steering wheel. The poop captain is It is a map room. The room contains a giant map in the center. Closer inspection reveals that almost all coastal towns as well as trade routes are scribbled over it. Give me a history check. If you look at it, you figure out that the cities that they have raided in the past are already marked, and you see that a lot of the trade routes are also marked as if they're planning the next parts of the route. You also notice some areas are marked with skeletons. And give me an Arcana check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I don't know just crap about magic. That's gibbity gobbity.
You're looking it over. You think there might be a switch, like something, like you're missing something. You just can't figure out what it is.
All right. Well then, if this is the last area that I can check out that is not green misty, then I'm gonna go head back
Okay.
to everybody and give them a heads up on what I found out. And
So
yeah.
you float back across the green mist, and you look for your party, and you don't see them, and that is where we are going to end tonight.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
I love that because I was looking into that spell. I was like, I can't actually just end this. I gotta wait.
Yay.
So sorry we didn't get to the combat. You guys are doing the sneaky beaky bit, which I'm all about. So hope you enjoyed.
important.
Good times.
Fun times.
And we will pick this up again next week.
And it's
Yay!
gonna get spooky.
All right.
Don't
Good night,
get
friends.
spoopy.
Bye.